Here we are, guys. Feast your eyes on this. Drool all you like. Oh, there. Hang on, let me adjust the camera a little bit here. Hey, James. So, we're doing this. So I'm pretty sure this one is actually ready to go. But what I wanted to do, just for the heck of it, wanted to do a compression test. And I'll just compression test both of them. This one has had, as you saw in the video the other day, has had a number of heat cycles. It started fine today. The carburetor needs to be tweaked for the final user, but it starts fine and runs. And boy, does it cut. So, yeah, let me bring you up on the other thing here. So I wanted to do compression tests and see where they're at after. It's just a little bit of running. These guys have not been run for that long. This has had 3 or 4 heat cycles on it. This had 3 or 4 heat cycles on it. So let's see here. Bring this up. I just want to read comments and whatnot in real time. Look at that. Pentecost 66. Hey Matt, nice sauce. Thank you very much. Yeah, these are nice pieces. These are nice pieces. So, let's do a compression check on this one because I don't think I've done that. So they're both the same price. They both have basically pluses and minuses to them, but mostly pluses. I don't even remember what all I've done to them. You can go back and watch the videos to actually see what I've done to them, because you can actually watch them being built, which is, at least in my opinion, a really unique thing. Unless you build saws yourself, you don't really get to see stuff done like that, Anyway, so let's check this one for compression. That's still stable. Let's get impact here. This helps. Hey, Brandon. I just wanted to let you guys drool over these a little bit. So that's reset. Let's see how this does. So I've got the decomp already in here. So nearly 150 with the decomp in. Let's pull the decomp out. Oh God. $175-ish. Let's see. $175, somewhere around there. I forget all that went into this. Neither of these have squish bands cut, but I'm pretty sure I decked the cases and everything. So again, you can go back and look. Let's look in there. We need a light. Yeah, I got tree stumps on Sunday. I tell you what, this one feels like it's got a lot more than 170 behind it. When you try to crank it, holy cow. It definitely feels like it's got a lot more than 170 pounds. Let that break in a little bit too. It'll get a little bit more out of it. So there's that one. I probably ran this, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, somewhere around there. It ran good too. Okay, there's that one. And you can see the video on that. I've got that up. Matt, how big is the Farmer Tech 660? What do you mean? How many cc's is it? How big is the Farmer Tech 660? I mean, weight? What are you looking for? You mean compared to the 394s? In some ways, it feels bulkier. This one's had a few heat cycles, so what I want to do is I want to check the torque on the bolts on it just to make sure that this is okay. You know? Yeah, the 660s feel a little. They feel a little bulkier. I think the 394s are slightly heavier, but I don't know that for sure. And I don't have. I have to get my 660 and then pull off the bar and whatnot and weigh them. And I don't have a good scale here, so I can't really help you there. Alright, let's check this one for compression. Actually, let's pull off the top cover first. Because this one needs basically a full bolt check just to make sure it's good before I deem it good to go out the door. But it oils, the chain brake works, it idles, she runs. I think the 394s are more powerful overall than the 660s, but it depends on the 660. You know, you can get one that's you can get some 660s that are pretty stout. You know. Overall, my preference is for the 394s, but you know, if I'm going out cutting, I might grab the 660 because I don't want to use up my 394s. I don't know. It's weird. Everybody's got different reasons for doing things. Okay. So let's do a compression test on this. It's released down to 0. Yeah, the 660 definitely feels bulky. Yeah, Brandon's the 660 bulky. The 660 feels more bulky. This feels taller, but a little more streamlined. You know, a little more lengthy, if you will. Taller, lengthier, rather than bulk this way. The 660s feel a little chubbier this direction. So, you know, which one's going to tend to roll down a hill? Well, the answer would be this one. Not that these tend to roll, but the 660s have a wider stance. You put them, you plop them down, they just plop. You know. Again, my preference is the 394s, but that's just my own personal preference. So about the same, just a little less than 150 there. That's 180 something. Yeah, so remember that's completely dry. There's no oil in there or anything. So that one's 170-ish. This one's a little about 180. A little bit of leak down there. You can see that. So this one's got a little higher comp. So, Brandon, by the time you get done with the 660 kit, making it a good saw, making it reliable and whatnot, you're going to be into it for $500. Just to let you know. Probably, you know, $500 plus, basically. So, just keep that in mind with the 660 kits. You can build them, you know, as they sit, but I think it's better to build them for a little bit more reliability, and so I would definitely do things like the OEM wrist pin and pin bearing. See, these want to come loose. I just tweak these a little bit because I don't want to, if they're Loctited in, which they are, I don't necessarily want to break the Loctite. I just want to make sure that they're not loosey-goosey, you know. Yeah, that's good. And something like this, you got to run half a tank through it and then check the muffler bolts again. You just got to do that. Thanks, Edwin. So yeah, so Brandon, you're gonna, if you want the 660 kit, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong with wanting it, but I spent a lot of money on mine. I'm probably north of $500. You got to ideally change out the starter, the handle, the clutch drums come out of round sometimes. The clutches themselves are not the best. Wrist pin bearing, maybe a Meteor piston, or go to maybe an upgraded cylinder head kit. What else? I would definitely recommend the Highway gasket and seal kit instead of using the Chinese seals if you're going for the the kit saw. The full wrap handle's nice. It's more robust than the half wrap that it comes with. Dual port muffler. They have I'd get the Highway dual port muffler. That's definitely a plus. You're going to have to mess with the fuel caps a little bit. Sometimes they leak. You might want to put an OEM boot on there. That's $40 for that darn thing, the OEM intake boot. Change out maybe the impulse line, put an OEM rubber piece on there. What else? So, there's a whole list of things that you can go through to upgrade on that thing, and you're going to be spending some bucks doing it, Yeah, and certainly especially from Walt's experience with the blue saw, he's running that with no mods, and he's getting it to cut pretty good, So, you don't have to put it together yourself. It depends on how ambitious you are and what you want to mess with. If you look at John Riley's stuff, Riley put his saw together and has a lot of OEM stuff on there. OEM crank, OEM bearing, the decompression valve, actually OEM, and I'd recommend a Husky decomp valve, by the way, the blue ones. He did a lot of OEM stuff on there, an OEM carburetor. Yeah, my carburetor seems to run okay, not great, but okay. I don't see the need to upgrade to OEM for me, but for him, yeah. So, you're thinking about playing with it for porting. Well, yeah, that's kind of the idea, and you can get a bunch of really cheap cylinder heads and fiddle around with it. But the thing with the 660s is, just after I played with it for a little bit, I kind of got the sense that there was not a lot of margin for error. So, for instance, you end up running into the free porting stuff pretty easily, and it's a lot harder to put the ports kind of where you want them. So, on a 660 than it is, let's say, on a 394. Or like, for instance, a Husky 372. Those you can play with kind of forever, and you don't end up with the free porting issues. The 660s, you end up with some funky numbers and free porting issues kind of in a hurry. So do watch out for that. It was something that I had never run into because I'm not really a steel guy. I've been doing mostly Husky, so it was just something that I wasn't familiar with. Gotta check these carburetor bolts too. And those are good. Turned a little bit. So I'd say this is pretty much ready to rock. Anybody that's interested, they can let me know. make sure everything's just in the right spot. And it goes. The other thing is, on these ported ones, you got to make sure there's enough room for the decomp valve, and there is. It tends to not want to pop out if this isn't kind of hollowed out. But anyway, whatever. This is fine. No trouble here. It's close, but no trouble. Matt, how much for the saw? So I have 2 of them here. They're $700 a piece, plus shipping. You can email me if you are interested. I would consider these lightly ported by me. You're welcome to go check back at the videos, because I did these all live. These were actually assembled. Both of these were assembled live recently. And they've both been run live recently. So, yeah, the beans. Yeah, they're pretty clean saws, and I probably have about 700 a piece into them, so. It doesn't include the hours of labor. They're pretty unique pieces, because you actually get to see me build them part by part. It's all on video, you know. How often do you get to see one of your saws being made, unless you're building it yourself? You know? Alright, so I checked the carburetor bolts. That's good. I checked the exhaust. That's fine. So this one here, new OEM chain brake, brand new. New highway muffler, new OEM top cover and air filter, high top, of course. New decompression valve, new starter cover, new gas tank. I either used an OEM piston with new cabers or a Meteor piston, I forget which. They're, of course, OEM cylinders. The differences between this one and that one are, this one actually has smaller dogs and a smaller roller, and it doesn't have the front guard here like the other one does. This one has a used coil, but it does obviously run just fine. This one has a brand new top cover. It's not a new gas tank or starter, but they work fine. Brand new OEM clutch cover here again. Brand new muffler. Brand new coil here. The coil alone is about $75. The top covers are another $75 or whatever they are. Brand new OEM air filter, of course. Brand new decomp. Brand new carburetors, I think, on both of these. I think they're both new, brandy new carburetors. Now I forget. Now you're asking the hard questions. Hang on, I forget. Yeah, I think that, yeah, they're brand new carburetors. These are the brand new WJ71s. What else? They run the oil. They're ported. Not super high compression because I don't cut squish band, but I do grind on the crankcases on the Bridgeport. So there's a lot of work that goes into these things, putting them together completely from scratch. New bearings, I use Nachi bearings and highway seals. The oilers have both been taken apart and put back together. All that stuff. If you're going to build a 440 or 360, I didn't like the 360. The 440 was okay. Yeah, the 660 really is the value. That's the thing. The 660 is probably the best bang for buck if you're doing kit saws. The 440 you might actually be able to find, um, some a used donor and be into it for about the same money by the time you're done. Um, Out of I would say the kit saw, the 660 probably pays off. The next one to pay off is probably the 372, and then maybe 440 after that, and then the others. Um, it's just a rough guess of bang for buck type thing. So anyway, I figured I'd just go live tonight just so you guys can drool over these things. I'm trying to make you guys drool so that somebody breaks out their checkbook and takes these off my hands. What would the saws cost new? So the 660s aren't made anymore, but you're still in the $1,200 range probably. And the 440 is not made anymore, but a 372, which would be sort of equivalent, a Husky equivalent, is still $800 or $900 sitting on the shelf. But those come with a warranty. So is anybody drooling yet? I mean, come on. And just so everybody knows, no, I'm not. Brandon's not drooling. No. Okay. Just so everybody knows, no, I'm not taking $6.99 for the saws. The price is $700 each plus shipping, plus the actual shipping. Last time I shipped one of these to the West Coast, it was like $80. So it's not cheap to ship these things. That was for David not too terribly long ago. Sell raffle tickets. The big saw, they're both big saws, Leonard. What are you talking about? They're 394s with identical top covers to 395s. You can't tell the difference. The starter cover is 394, 395. It's the same. The gas tank 394, 395. They're the same. You cannot tell the difference until you pop the hood here and you can see that this is an intake block instead of an intake boot. $699.99. No. Go away, Craig. Including these two, I have 8 of these. So I don't think I need them. Considering I don't really even have need for one. Yeah. We had 26 people here. Now we're down to 18. What the heck happened? I know. Everybody just realized it was a giant infomercial. Sorry. I just wanted you guys to check them out. That's all. Take care, Brandon. Get a 440 over a 360. Okay, that's what I would do. The 660 over the 440. That would be my preference. If you're gonna do it, and make sure you change out that darn wrist pin bearing. Okay. Thanks, Leonard. Yeah, if it's you need to start logging. No. The 394 definitely beats the 395. No way. Yeah, well, everybody's got their preference. My preference is to the 394, mainly because of the intake block. I like the concept of the intake block more than I do of the boot. But the funny, the intake block probably not going to go bad. The boot is rubber, it can go bad. Well, the truth is that intake blocks crack. They do. So all this stuff has finite life anyway. Kind of sucks, but this is the way it is. Don't get in trouble here for advertising. Oh, God. Forestry Forum. We had an ice storm, Tim. We had ice on the trees the other day. Quite a bit, actually. You guys crack me up. Okay, so I'm going to basically, these are all drained of fluids. These are basically ready to go. So if anybody wants one, they can just email me. Here's my email. Just remove the ampersands. This is the saw number 2 that I had out the other day. That was running. And this is the saw number 1 out of the 2, just to keep them straight. This one does have a little higher compression, but it does suffer from the whole small dogs problem. Anyway, and it doesn't have this cover. So, which one's better? Who knows? Who cares? They both run really good. Tim, I just set these down next to trees, and the trees just fall down. I mean, I don't need to, put a raincoat on my chainsaw. You're crazy, Leonard. You're just crazy. Too crazy for me. Can't handle that. All right, I'm going to put these 1, 2 down here. Just so they're stashed away, tucked nice and tight. So when somebody wants them, did Eric Briggs show up yet? Is Eric around? Haven't heard from him in a few days. What else, guys? That's about it for the night, I think. I really hope we can get the air elbows going for the 394. That would be really cool. And I'm still waiting to hear from my machinist on those rods to have the tools back in stock. So that's kind of the long and the short of it there. Thanks, Leonard. Appreciate it. We get ice storm in Georgia, a lot of trees go down. Yeah, no, Tim, the same thing here. Connecticut is still overgrown. We've had a lot of storms. We've had a lot of growth come down, but really there's so many trees here in Connecticut that, and they just grow right over the power lines, and our guys can't keep up. That's the problem. Maybe some guys get their tax checks and have some luck. Yeah, well, there. I guess we can all count on that, you know. Yeah, it'd be good to finally get these sold. Just again, I'm not trying to make money on them. I just want to move them along. Somebody will really enjoy them, and um, uh, again, this is part of me kind of moving on and going to be doing something else eventually here. So, mm. You thought you were leaving, Brandon? You get sucked back in. Brandon, I mean, I think the kit saws are a great topic. I really think that it's a topic that probably needs to get discussed more because I think the kit saws are really here to stay. Um, I don't think we're getting rid of them anytime soon. Now, who's to say whether there'll be better value in the ones that are already put together, like the blue one or purple one that Walt is running? Um, Effectively the 660 clone there. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, yeah. So I don't know whether that's ultimately going to be better value or not. I see plenty of value in putting a saw together myself. I really like that. I like the ability to do that. I like learning about it. And if you do that, you're never going to have a problem like thinking about, oh, gee, how do I maintain this? Because you already put it together. James, can you even walk? I don't know about the pins in your ankle and how they'd take to holding onto one of these big saws. If anything, maybe the kit saws will make the OEM saws come down in price. I disagree. I disagree. Um, and here's why. One, those companies, mainly Steel and Husky, were I dare I use the word, were arrogant enough to believe that they could keep charging for what they're charging for and get away with it and not have any competition. Um, the Chinese have come up with parts because there was a void, right? There was a void in the market, and the market for parts, at least, was the fact that Husky and Steel were charging some absolutely outrageous prices for parts. Now, the reason that they were doing that was because, at least what I believe, is they don't want to be in the parts business. They want to sell saws. But see, Husky and Steel have all kinds of other regulations that they have to put their saws through that effectively the Chinese are not regulated to. If you have all these EPA regulations and these guys are playing by the rules and the Chinese aren't, then those saws are going to be up in value. Plus, you have the whole warranty issue. Now, I understand that, some of the Chinese saws have warranties, but realistically, what are you going to do? Ship it back to China? And that's not what tree guys need. So if you're a tree guy, you're cutting down trees every day. You literally need to be able to walk into your dealer, be like, plunk, I need a new one. Oh, good one, and walk out, and that's it, and keep cutting. That's what these guys need. So I think that need is not going to change, and I don't think that the Chinese saws are going to change that. In which case, the prices aren't going anywhere. If anywhere, the prices are going to go up. That's how I see it. Um, That's basically the price of doing business, assuming you're a really active tree guy. You need the warranties, you need the dealer service, and the Chinese don't provide that. Brandon, I've constantly outrun those with my 350s, so I don't really need the 260s or 026s. I know that's bad, right? You can go check out the videos yourself. Yeah, Ronnie, there's an educational value there to the kit saws that has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the parts. You know, there you can basically say I'm assuming the parts are all junk, and assuming the saw doesn't even run at the end, there's still some educational value to being able to assemble all those parts. And how much is an education worth? Well, people are these days people are paying $250,000 just for a college degree, which isn't worth a whole lot. So I would say that being able to build a chainsaw has some pretty good value. Yeah, Tim, you bring up a good point. For the if you can buy three Chinese saws, maybe four Chinese saws for the price of an OEM saw, there's some value there. I don't know if the tree guys are going to see it. Now, some people, like mainly in Australia, I think, because the prices of saws there are completely insane. They're like nearly triple what it is here for OEM stuff. Um, I know that China and Australia have quite the interesting economy going. Um, Maybe some guys will see it that way. I don't know. Not for it's not going to be for a while. I don't think Husky and Steel are going to really be feeling it. It makes logical sense that they would, but I don't think so. Just something it tells me no. I think that's what Walt was showing the lawyer friend of his. Cheap, but they don't last. See, the problem, Leonard, the problem with that is that the cheap, but they don't last. The words "they don't last" is always up for debate, and the reason why is because of is points of failure or failure modes. What exactly fails? You can have a um, you can have a saw that eats itself, and a saw that has a bad spark plug wire, and either way, that saw is going to end up on a shelf, not going to run. One thing puts it on the shelf just as fast as the other. So you can have a bad wrist pin bearing that tears up an entire piston and cylinder, and assuming the piston and cylinder is still good, they didn't quote unquote wear out. Um, it was just a bad wrist pin bearing. Does that mean the whole saw is bad? I don't think so. But it does mean that there's a failure mode there, and that needs to be addressed. Um, yeah, you guys get the idea. So remember, where I started was dealing with completely trashed chainsaws. That's what I've been doing, is literally dealing with completely trashed chainsaws. And I can tell you how many cylinder heads I've ever seen that are plainly worn out. And the answer is zero. It doesn't mean that there aren't other parts on the saw that are worn out, but they don't wear out. Not often. I know that some guys have seen plating worn through and whatnot, but that's not usually where the point of failure is. The point of failure is, gummed up carburetor, or a fuel line that goes bad, or maybe a bearing goes bad for some reason. A cage goes bad. Um, but again, does that mean that the whole saw didn't last? Well, it got put on a shelf. Why? One little part went bad. Does that mean that the whole saw is bad? And I would certainly argue, no, it does not mean that. Um, just means you need to put in a better part next time. It's an interesting discussion. Those saws and walls last everyday logging. Yeah, some stuff goes through, but what I've noticed is when I hand my stuff to the tree guys, they don't even do bolt checks or nothing. Stuff just rattles apart. So, when I use my stuff, I might notice something loose, go tighten it, and then it's good. But these guys, they don't pay attention. So they don't even clean their air filters at all. So I have a hard time imagining that stuff without a warranty in a commercial environment lasts. Now, obviously, if Walt can get it to last, I mean that's awesome. Um, Maybe he puts more torque on his bolts than I do. I don't know. I think it does no harm for Husky and Steel to have some competition. Yeah, no kidding. There's nothing wrong with competition. It's fine. Have I seen the multi-tool trimmer? No, Tim, I have not. Sorry. Around here, Echo is putting the pressure on Steel and Husky. Echo is a good saw for the price. Yeah, that little Echo top handle, I've heard is pretty cute and fun. When I'm in the tree, I don't want to come back down and get another saw. Yeah, Leonard, I hear you. Like Echo too, but I like Steel the best. Brandon, you're entitled to that. If Steel is your thing, then that's fine. Harry Rambo. In 1980, 2000, the golden years of Steel. My next saw is a little Echo, though. Most most I saw was a lack of maintenance. Yeah, lack of maintenance is a big thing. Timbersack Logger. Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome. I have a question. Newer 395 been running. Awesome question. When I turn it upside down, it idles higher. Flip it backwards, it idles lower. Matt, I want a 200T. LOL. Timbersack. That's an interesting question. You know what I'm thinking about when I hear of something like that. Um, Something in the carburetor, maybe. I've had a lot of random positional issues with carburetors. Uh, you know, One thing to do before you think it's the carburetor is get the saw running just right side up and spray a little brake cleaner around the base of the cylinder head, and a little brake cleaner like in the flywheel area. What you want to do is you want to see if there's a leak somewhere, you know. Um, but if it's not an air leak, which it probably isn't, based on what you're telling me, then gummed up carburetor, maybe the gas line's too tight, some random issue like that. Um, what else? Basically, if the idle goes up, it means that there's too much air or too little fuel, right? So, too much air or too little fuel. So, probably too little fuel. Maybe the fuel line's getting pinched as it gets turned upside down for some reason. Just something to think about. Matt, I do like putting the 200Ts together. It's a very popular saw. People think they're worth a pile of gold, just so you know. Every time I finish tree work, full cleanup with my saw and sharpen. How about the Echo 355? I have I don't actually have personal experience with the Echoes, so I can't tell you specifically. This is good. That's bad. Whatever. I can't do it. Sorry. Um, some guys like them. Some guys don't. I like stealing no good Husky dealers near me where I would try them. Sorry, Edwin. Fuel filter coming out of the fuel. Where is Larry tonight? I don't know where Larry is tonight. Matt, buy one. I have an 02 on it, 200 T. Awesome. Look after them. Yeah, Timber Zach, I hope that helps. Harry, how much for the 200T? Little side deals going on here. You guys are supposed to talk about my 394s, not these side deals. Kidding. It's all right. You guys do whatever you like. Yeah, so Timber Zach, that's kind of what I would look for. um, is definitely something in the fuel system that's somehow getting pinched, maybe. Uh, is the fuel line unkinked inside the? Are you using the OEM line? Okay, the curly Q line, which I hate for the record. Um, I can see totally why to use them. But I'm boycotting the steel curly Q line. I think it's stupid. I noticed my green elbow off gas tank popped off. Well, that might do it. Who knows? No trading or advertising. Yeah, I know. No, nobody can advertise or trade. Terrible. Bad. It's an inside joke, everybody. Just so you know. The green part is a vent. You mean this? Yeah, that's a vent. Tank vent. The vent could be clogged or plugged. You can get your midi vac out and see if you can pull a vacuum on the tank vent there. That would be a good thing to try. Heating. Anything else, guys? Who wants to buy a 394? Come on, you can do it. Come on, Matt, you know you want it. Who else is here that was new? There's somebody else here that was new. Matt, Timberzack, Harry Rambo. Harry, I think I've seen you before. Ronnie Buck, of course, has been here before. Just looking at somebody else here that was, I think it was new. Missing it. What did I miss? Andrew Hammond. What's the price? There's each 394 is 700 plus shipping. Matt, you got a 288. That's great. Now you just need to add a 394 to your collection. Take care, Tim. Go cook your bacon for your granddaughter. Yeah, my parents love doing that for my kids too. Ronnie, so you got to go make some money, obviously. Paul Borden's here. Hey, Paul. Love the shows. I get five saws and don't need one. Not including the 394s that are for sale. I have 14 chainsaws, and I don't use them that much. So including the two 394s, I have 16 saws. Just And believe it or not, I don't have a 288. It's not part of my collection. I have a 262. I have a 272, but I don't have the 288. The 288 is a gap in my collection, and I'm not. I understand they're great saws, and I've used them, and it's a great saw. I'm just not in a particular hurry to add that, because if I add that, then I have to carry parts for it. At least in my mind. And I know I was supposed to pick up that other tool chest, but my credit card bill was a little high this month, so uh, I have at least 25 ahead. Yeah, a lot. Vince, a lot of guys have more than I do. Um, there are plenty of guys that have more than me, but Lee has what, over 500, and they're all like 100 cc's and up. Great. I don't. eh, it's not me. I like chainsaws for sure. I really like playing with the mill, with the sawmill. If I had to pick my favorite thing to do um, of late, and possibly ever, my favorite thing to do is to work on the sawmill. If you're out there on the mill, you're gonna be using the chainsaw too. So I certainly get that aspect of it, and that's always good. But tell you what, using the band sawmill is such a kick. Oh man, it is so fun. And sitting by the fire. Yeah, I know we haven't done our fireside chats. Forgive me. We need to do fireside chats again this summer. Right? Right. Usually because I fix them and then get attached to them. Yeah, Vince, you got to let them go, buddy. These are really nice 394s, and there's absolutely like nothing. That's why I said, if I don't get the $700, if Craig Timmons comes in here and offers me 69.99, then I'm going to tell him no, because I'm reasonably attached to them. If I get the right money for them, then I'll let them go. But if I don't get the right money, then I don't have a problem keeping them, because they run just fine. Sawmill is neat to see the wood and the log. Yeah, I'm telling Bob, it really. I know you're as much of a fan of bandsaw milling as I am, and every time you open a log, it's a unique experience. You get to see something that literally nobody else on the planet has ever seen, and I think and it's a piece of history too. It's a challenge. It's interesting. Um, Ultimately, hopefully, it's useful for something. provides some utility. But it's just, good exercise. You get out there and I haven't been exercising. It's terrible. I haven't been exercising. I need to get out and move and do something. Just been wet, and I don't have logs. Need logs. Matt, you know why Kubota sells Echo? Because the parts for them cost arm and a leg. Yikes. It's okay, I don't need money, so them in my shop isn't going to hurt them. I need to get my money out of it. I got other stuff I got to spend, like, I got to buy toolboxes or something. That's the problem. I get so much cash sitting in all this stuff. Oh my God, I got parts. I got so many parts. Just, I got to wonder, do I have as many dollars in parts as I do in saws sitting out in the shed? Maybe. You have a lot of money into parts. It's nice to have the parts, no question. But also nice to. I mean, if I took and parted out the 394s, I'd make more money. I really would. But better to sell them running, I think. JMR, just open this page. What are you selling? 394 XPs. You want me to bring them back? You can see. Yeah. Okay, I'll bring them back. Why not? There's one. The thing is, JMR, you got to go back and watch the other videos. I've got other videos of me actually running these things. Let's see. Down a little bit. That's the thing about parts. One day you might need them. Yeah, I know, Leonard. So you got to be careful what you hold on to, And what I've tried to do is I've tried to thin my parts down, so much so that I build stuff and thin the parts and build and thin and just, Anyway, I don't know. Can you see these? There's one. Here's two. Yeah, I had a 385. I liked it. I like the 394s better. I mainly run Husky 350s, 346 XP 350s, 372s, and 394s. That's mainly what I run, and these are 2 of 8 that I have. So I think it's time to sell a couple. And these are $700 each plus shipping. Literally built completely from scratch. I like how you did the mufflers and bolts on them. How did I do the mufflers and bolts? With the steel fasteners? I mean, they're just because what I had. These are regular old M6 nuts. They have, Husky has nuts to put on here, but there's no point. They're just regular M6 nuts. JMR, thanks very much. Thanks, Timberzak. Yeah, I like them, and I get them in bulk. Here, I'll show you. Hang on. Nope, that's not the one. Where'd that go? Not there. So they're lock nuts. They come from Monster Bolts. on eBay. So I get a lot of bolts in bulk from them, and they seem to be pretty good. No complaints. Yeah, these both have OEM clutch covers, which are like $80 a shot. Um, the top covers are about $75 a piece. Brand new air filters, brand new carburetors. The heads are ported. This has 170 pounds of compression, dry and cold, and this is 180 again, dry and cold. I mean, literally the brand new bearings, new seals. These are put completely together from scratch, uh, and they run pretty good. So you can see the running videos if you want. This one has the guard down here, which this one doesn't have. This has bigger dogs. That one's got smaller dogs. Whatever, you know. The mufflers are not opened up. You can open them up if you want. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to these if you want to fiddle. It's up to you. No, I haven't put on Facebook. I mean, Vince, no, I don't know. Like Vince, I guess I'm not in that much of a hurry to sell. Like I haven't posted them on Arbor's site or anything like that. I could. I'd rather just sell to my subscribers. You know. Yeah, JMR. You know, watch what he, just I JMR. Just keep in mind a lot of the videos that I put out are really super boring. So we'll fast forward them or put me on mute or whatever. A lot of stuff is super boring, but hopefully, a lot of what I've done is also a reference to how to build these literally from scratch, and you can go through bolt for bolt and part by part and see how to do it and what to do. Yeah, this one has a brand new gas tank. That's $150 just for that. I had some welding done on the cases to make sure they were solid. So, and the welding was done by Sean Carr, and he's known to be a really good welder. Magnesium welding is hard, and he does a nice job. Yeah, this AV mount down here had to be welded back on. He actually re-welded the case, and it's nice and solid. It's good. So a lot of work goes into these things. 700 doesn't begin to cover my time, but it's probably what I have into these each in parts. So whatever. My email is here. Get rid of the ampersands. And it's 10 o'clock, or 9:58. So I think it's time for me to call it a night, especially when I'm just doing an infomercial here. Should take him to the markets? What do you mean? I'd like to sell them to subscribers. I can bring them and sell them randomly on Facebook, but I'd like to sell to subscribers. Just my thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being silly. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for hanging out. I do enjoy do enjoy hanging out. Andrew, okay, that's fine. And if I don't sell them, they're just gonna sit on the shelf in my shed basically until I do. I can tell you that odds are now that this video's out, I don't think they're gonna last that long. But whatever, you know. Andrew, just shoot me an email. That way you've got my contact information, and usually I email back pretty quick. So if you don't hear back from me pretty quick, you got the wrong email. So anyway, thanks so much everybody for hanging out. Do appreciate it. Everybody be safe out there, and of course email me anytime with questions. Okay. Yeah, you guys have a great evening too. Okay. Take care. Be safe. Take care, Craig, Leonard, Brandon, Andrew. Good seeing everybody. Have a good night.